There's no child on this earth that God has created that anybody deserves to die with a bullet in their head. None. An innocent child.
Welcome back to Melanin Mysteries. Today, we uncovered the heartbreaking story of Kesean Williams, a vibrant 9-year-old boy whose life was tragically cut short by a senseless act of violence. Join me as we explore the events leading up to that fateful night, the impact on his family, and the ongoing search for justice. This is a story of love, loss, and a family's unwavering determination to find answers. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Your support is appreciated. Now, let's get into today's case. Kesean Williams was born on July 21, 2003, in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and is survived by his brother Kesean Williams and his mom, Tanya Garvey. Kesean played baseball, basketball, and enjoyed skateboarding. In the summer of 2012, Tanya moved her boys to Brampton, Ontario, after living in the same Hamilton apartment for 13 years. One of the reasons for the move was that Kesean's biological dad resides in Brampton, so she thought it would be good for them to forge a closer bond. The family had stayed at a temporary home before moving into their supposed permanent home at 51 Ard Glen Drive, and it was a co-op townhouse, which they moved into 3 days before the shooting. Before his passing, 9-year-old Kesean was in grade 4 at Sir Winston Churchill Public School, where he was described as a well-liked student. And on the night of January 23, 2013, he had a school project that he was working on, which was about his favorite animal, the cheetah. Kesean and his mom had went to a friend's house to borrow a printer so they could print out cheetah pictures for a poster to go with the cue cards Kesean had written out by hand. The machine was temperamental and ran out of ink, and his mom had to pick up his brother, 15-year-old Kesean, who was playing basketball at the YMCA. She decided to drop both boys at the townhouse and return to finish the printing job herself. Kesean told his mom that he loved her before she headed out, not knowing it would be the last time she would hear from him again. You see, a short time later, around 10:30 p.m., a bullet tore through the family's living room window, striking Kesean in the head. Kesean talked about the moment it happened.
He fell face first. I didn't really know what happened. I just heard a shock, like I heard a pop, and I didn't think my brother just got shot. My brother's dying right there in my arms, and totally unexpectedly.
Kesean had begun performing CPR, a skill he had learned while working toward his volunteer hours at the YMCA. The teen's furious pumping brought his sibling back to life. Emergency responders arrived and separated the two, taking Kesean to the hospital, while Kesean, without shoes or socks, covered in blood-soaked pajamas, was transported to the police station, where he was questioned as if he were a suspect. Kesean talked about the experience, saying, "They basically interrogated me like I had something to do with it. It was a pretty traumatic experience." But Peel Police Constable Bancroft Wright defended their actions and had said,
Investigators are trying to gather as much information as possible from everyone that was at the scene.
Would it not be possible to question him at hospital?
It wouldn't be a proper setting.
While Kesean was interrogated, according to Tanya, she threw a fit in the station's hallway, threatening to call every news organization in the city. After that, police rushed the pair to Sick Kids Hospital. Kesean died soon after in surgery. Kesean's funeral took place, and there were 800 people in attendance.
To talk about it, I get very emotional.
He just always had a smile on his face, and he liked to dance a lot, and he had a little Kesean dance.
I remember when they used to be at the hall playing. It's very sad. It's extremely sad.
Every Sunday, his mom would visit his gravesite. Police looked further into the shooting, and they said that they did not believe the bullet that killed Kesean was a stray shot, but that the home was targeted. And there was evidence which confirmed that the shooter was standing immediately outside the window when the gun was shot. At one point during the investigation, an officer implied that Kesean's own brother may have shot through the window himself and then ran back inside the house. And there were questions about whether Kesean was involved in gang activity. But nothing came from that idea. Police released surveillance video of a suspect seen running from the scene around the time of the shooting. It was later suggested by police that the person who shot through the living room window and into the back of Kesean's head was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that it was possible that the killer was there to target someone who used to live at the townhouse, as Kesean and his family only lived there for 3 days. According to some area residents, they believed the previous tenant was a suspected drug dealer who was known to police, but they have not been brought in for questioning. 3 years after Kesean's death, Peel police said that they recovered the gun that killed him, and it was discovered that the gun used to kill him in 2013 is the same murder weapon that was fired in a brazen daylight murder of a Scarborough father 4 months later. Surendra Vadilagam was fatally shot on May 29, 2013, while at his home on Mantis Road, near Morningside and Finch Avenue. Surveillance video showed that before the shooting, Surendra was being watched by some passengers in a vehicle, and so it was believed that the murder was not a mistake. Although investigators say it was a planned hit, they don't know why he was targeted, as he was described as a hard-working family man. But as of now, the men in the video have not been identified. Since Kesean's death, his mom and brother refused to return to their blood-stained and gun-riddled home, which they say had also been robbed in their absence. Tanya said she was also unable to return to work as a personal support worker, and the two stayed in a shelter, homeless for years, while on a waiting list for housing. They finally moved into a home in 2017, where they currently reside. In 2020, on the anniversary of his death, both Tanya and Kesean made a plea to the public and to Peel police to finally bring his killer to justice. In an interview, they talked about how they last spoke with police 4 years ago and became frustrated over a lack of communication. Tanya had said, "They had so many detectives in the last 7 years. Every time I call, it's someone different. The ones that cared and had compassion. Some have quit the force, walked away completely." Constable Wright argues that in any organization, you have turnover, where people are replaced or leave the job, and that the information is being passed over and officers would be briefed in the case. He also added that the turnover does not tamper or obstruct the case, saying, "If I was to take over that case, I would be briefed on the primary officer that's in charge of that case." Kesean shared that he had started going to a therapist and says he's just now realizing the impact seeing his brother shot had on him. He said, "I wish they would have cared more when this really happened. If I had the right care or the right people in my corner when this had happened, I could have taken all that pain and all this suffering and did something positive for my brother. I still cry every night because I can't sleep with my brother. I cry in the morning. I wake up and I can't see my brother. Since the day it happened, me and my mom haven't had any safety. The reality of my world has changed. and I can't even sit in front of my window without feeling scared. Kesean said if Kesean's killer is found, it would give him peace of mind that they are not walking free. Since her son's death, Tanya still lives with a hole in her heart and hopes that someone can come forward to help bring the killer to justice.
Praying to God that somebody out there, somebody will talk the truth, that my son can rest in peace.
Peel Police has put up a $25,000 reward for any information leading to an arrest. Anyone with info relating to this investigation is asked to call investigators at the Homicide and Missing Persons Bureau at 905-795-7712. Info may also be left anonymously by calling Peel Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or 8477. You can also visit www.peelcrimestoppers.ca. As we conclude this episode of Melanin Mysteries, we remember Kesean Williams and the devastating impact his loss has had on his family and community. Despite the years that have passed, the pain remains fresh and the search for justice continues. If you have any information that could help solve this case, please contact the authorities. Your voice could make a difference. Thank you for watching and for your support in bringing light to these stories. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on future mysteries. See you next time on Melanin Mysteries.